The loudest voice in the room rarely controls it. Noise is a distraction. It broadcasts insecurity. It demands validation. True influence operates in the negative space. It moves before it is acknowledged. You have been taught that dominance requires volume, that leadership requires a speech. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of human architecture. People do not follow the loudest signal. They follow the most stable one. When the environment fractures, attention does not drift toward chaos. It anchors to the point of absolute stillness. This is the quiet architect. He does not compete for airtime. He designs the room. He understands that silence is not an absence. It is a container. And within that container, outcomes take shape. You will learn how to build that container, not through force, not through persuasion, through deliberate structural absence. The mechanism is older than rhetoric. It relies on two precise instruments, the psychological vacuum and the mirror of empathy. Both require restraint. Both demand precision. Most men talk to fill the space. You will learn to leave it empty until the room adjusts to your gravity. Consider the physics of a closed room. When pressure drops, air rushes in. Human interaction follows the same law. When you withdraw your need to be heard, you create a void. Others feel compelled to fill it. This is the psychological vacuum. It is not passive. It is engineered. You remove your ego from the equation. You stop offering opinions. You stop defending your position prematurely. You simply listen with absolute focus. The vacuum activates. The other party begins to project. They reveal their assumptions. They expose their priorities. They negotiate against themselves. In high-stakes environments, this is lethal precision. A corporate merger stalls. Two executives argue over terms. The quiet strategist does not interrupt. He observes the friction. He waits for the exhaustion. When the noise peaks, he asks one calibrated question. The room shifts. The agenda resets. The vacuum forces clarity. People cannot sustain performance without an audience. Remove the audience, they drop the script. You will see the raw data beneath the posturing. You will see the leverage points. The vacuum does not manipulate through deception. It manipulates through absence. It removes the interference so the truth can settle. This requires discipline. It requires the willingness to be underestimated. Because the moment they think you are passive, they will hand you the blueprint. You simply wait. You do not reach. You allow the architecture to align. Silence alone is not enough. It must be directed. This is where the mirror of empathy operates. It is not warmth. It is not sympathy. It is optical precision. You reflect the other person's framework back to them, without distortion, without judgment. You become a surface. They see their own logic. They hear their own reasoning. And in that reflection, they recognize the path forward. You do not argue. You align. When a counterpart feels understood, their defensive posture collapses. The cognitive load shifts. They stop protecting their position. They start searching for integration. This is how quiet influence scales. You map their priorities. You match their cadence. You echo their vocabulary. Subtly. You do not mimic. You calibrate. The mirror creates a feedback loop. They begin to trust the reflection. And because you are the source of the reflection, they trust the direction. In boardrooms, this closes deadlocks. In leadership, it builds unspoken loyalty. The team does not follow a title. They follow the person who accurately reflects their value. You must control your reaction. Empathy is a tool. It is not an emotional surrender. You remain detached. You remain analytical. You use the mirror to guide, not to absorb. The quiet architect never loses center. He simply adjusts the angle until the outcome aligns with his design. Influence is not about changing minds. It is about revealing the path they were already willing to walk. The mirror makes that path visible.
Let us examine the mechanics in a live environment. A negotiation reaches a fracture point. Deadlines loom, capital is at risk. The counterpart raises their voice. They issue an ultimatum. The amateur responds with counterpressure. The strategist withdraws. He allows the silence to stretch. 3 seconds. 5 seconds. The vacuum expands. The counterpart feels the weight. They shift posture. They break eye contact. The strategist maintains it. Calm. Unbroken. He then deploys the mirror. He restates their concern. Exactly. He strips the emotion. He isolates the core variable. The counterpart nods. The tension breaks. Not because the terms changed, because the environment changed. The strategist has reset the baseline. Leadership operates on the same axis. You do not command compliance. You design conditions where compliance is the logical choice. You remove friction. You clarify expectations. You step back. The team self-organizes around your standard. You do not micromanage. You measure outcomes. You correct deviations with precision, not with volume. Your presence becomes the metric. When you speak, it carries weight because you speak rarely, because you observe continuously. This is not aloofness. This is calibration. You are constantly reading the room. You are tracking micro shifts. You are adjusting the pressure. The quiet architect builds systems that run without his constant intervention. He trusts the structure. He trusts the vacuum. He trusts the mirror. The result is sustainable authority, not temporary compliance. You build influence that outlasts your presence. The modern world rewards noise. It equates visibility with value. It confuses urgency with importance. This is a structural flaw. The quiet architect sees through it. He understands that attention is a currency, and he refuses to spend it recklessly. He conserves it. He deploys it with intent. Every pause is calculated. Every word is weighted. Every silence is a lever. You do not need to dominate the conversation. You need to design it. You do not need to win every exchange. You need to control the trajectory. This requires patience. It requires the discipline to watch the board while others play the pieces. It requires the courage to be still when every instinct demands movement. But stillness is not weakness. It is compression. It is potential energy. When you finally move, the force is directed. It is undeniable. You will be underestimated. Let them. Underestimation is a strategic asset. It grants you time. It grants you space. It allows the architecture to settle. You are not here to be heard. You are here to shape the outcome, to guide without friction, to lead without announcement, to influence without exhaustion. The tools are simple. The vacuum, the mirror, the silence. Master them. Apply them with restraint, and watch the room adjust to your gravity. Stay quiet. Stay powerful.
Full confession to confession room. Shocking twist to twisted truths. Control and mindset to quiet power. Deeper meaning to unset lines. Final message to last words never said.